in this session today and give you a basic overview of how we can create fields, list, automations, rules, and management. So I am a two-time Salesforce certified, currently working at Cloud Junction Advisors as a Salesforce developer and consultant. And I have some web developing skills as well. So this is me. So the for today's session will be that I will start with some basic overview of what account engagement is. Then I will give one some hands-on experience of how we can create a custom field in account engagement. What is the differences between static lists versus dynamic lists? How we can create dynamic lists, how we can create automation rules, and we will discuss some examples of automations rules as well. So before going on, what giving you a hands-on experience of creating custom field, let me just give you a brief overview of what account engagement is. So previously it was known as Salesforce Pardot, and now with the latest versions, it has been renamed as Marketing Cloud Account Engagement. So it's a powerful marketing automation tool that helps various business captures like nurturing and converting leads into customers. So it's a very well-oiled machine that streamlines marketing and sales process together. So it makes it easier to identify potential customers, engage with them in a meaningful ways. So with this tool, we can do various tasks. For example, lead generations, lead nurturing, and we can even enable sales. So for example, when it comes to lead generation, when I talk about lead generation, it helps you create beautiful and engaging landing pages to capture leads through forms and different calls to action. We can also create web forms and progressive profiling to gather valuable information about your leads from different third-party platforms. We can track websites visit activity to understand their interests and behavior. So when this lead is created, how we can know all those? So the automated email campaigns that deliver personalized content based on leads, interests, and stage in the buyer's journey. We can also categorize them by giving scores, leads based on their engagement, right? And activity. So we can basically uh, uh, give a score based on their engagement and activity to prioritize which one is most likely to convert to a potential customer. And we can also segment our audience into targeted groups. For example, for more effective communication, we can also target different customers into different lists that we have to target that specific customers. So we can all do that in this Pardot account marketing account engagement platform. Also, when it talks about sales, we can pass qualified leads to your sales teams at the right time with all the information they need to close the deal. So they have that information that helps the sales team that this is a potential customer and they can carry forward with their business. We can track the effectiveness of your marketing campaigns and return on investment. We can gain insights about customers' behavior to your marketing strategy. So in short, when I talk about when I say that Pardot integrates seamlessly with Salesforce CRM, which gives you a 360-degree view of your customers and prospects. This means you can see all the interactions with your brand in one place, from website visits to emails open to sales conversations. So in short, overall, Pardot is a valuable tool for any business that wants to improve its marketing and sales results. It can help you automate uh, task, personalize your communication, and close more deals if you're considering using Pardot. I recommend checking out the Salesforce website for more information or taking a free trial to see an action. Also, you can give on a hand-on experience if you don't have anything, if you want to try learning about Pardot, just create a developer account for Pardot. It's free and you can start with your hands-on experience. So let me just begin with the hands-on experience. So in order to create custom fields, we have to go into the app, that is marketing account engagement app. Let me show you how we can go to that. So first of all, you have to go into this app launcher. You have to search account engagement here. So once we are on the account engagement app, we can see all the dashboard tabs here. So there is dashboards here, that is standard dashboards that Pardot account engagement offers. Then there is prospects, all the campaigns, automations, account engagement detail, comments includes forms and landing pages, account engagement reports, and reports and account engagement settings. So in order to create custom fields, we have to go to the account engagement settings here. And to your left, see various tabs here. For example, we have to hit this button object and field configuration. And then we have the um, account fields, opportunity fields here, prospective fields. And in order to link custom objects, we have the options here. So for example, if you have to create a new custom field, so we have to just click the account object. Here is the option you get on how you can create a custom field. You can have to click this, have to name the field here. For example, account source. We can give a type here. We can give a drop down here and type. So for example, we have text, number, date, radio button, box, drop down text. We don't have lookups here. So this is a field. This is the ID that is stored for Pardot purposes. And then if you have to sync this with the account with the Salesforce field, you have to drop down here to link this field here. So for example, I have to link this specific field that I have to this account source field that has been in Salesforce. Just have to click this here. So here are some options. Keep this field type and possible values. So in order to uh, the possible values, you have to check this. If you have to maintain this as a required option, so these are all the basic options that is required to create a field. Use predefined values for checkboxes, radio buttons, drop down selects. So for example, these values are already created that has been here by syncing the field with the account here. So for example, you have to change any of the fields, you can even change it. So this is a differently. For example, you have label it as website. You can do it as well. For you can just label it as phone as well. So once this is done, we have to hit a create custom button. So once this is created, it will be under the custom field section here. And yeah, so this is it. And you can even create different types of field according to your requirements. So it's very easy to sync the Pardot fields, Salesforce fields, in short. So then comes the static dynamic list. Uh, so, uh, so basically, what static was is so static lists are those lists that are very constant. It cannot be, what do you say? It cannot be dynamically update. It will be always constant. It will have a certain amount of number. And when we talk about dynamic lists are certainly basically dependent on certain criteria. For example, if there is any automation going behind, for example, if there is any automation going and you have to add it in a specific list and a criteria. For example, if the Pardot score is greater than 50, those prospects will be added into that specific list. So dynamic lists have basically a criteria and static lists will have no criteria. In short, we can say static lists will be having no criteria and dynamic lists will be having a criteria. So, so when I talk about static lists, the count of members in the static list will always be constant unless and until the record is deleted in Pardot. So for example, list import of random data will be stored in the list, and further there won't be the addition of any records in it. We can also manually add the prospects to the static list, but there will be no such criteria of adding uh, to a dynamic list. So we can just add, for example, if we are creating a prospect, we can simply add this to a static list. So in short, we can say the count of members in the static list unless and until the record is deleted in Pardot. So when I talk about dynamic, the members will be added to the list whenever the record follows the list criteria. Members will be removed from the list if they don't follow the list criteria. For example, if a list having company, so this company is ABC, and the list will display all the records having company name ABC. If any record is further created with company name, then it will be added automatically to list. If the company name for a prospect is changed from ABC to something else, then those will be automatically removed from this dynamic list. So yeah, this is a basic difference between static list versus dynamic list. So how we can let me just go back to the example here. For that, you go to this prospects here. Then we have to go to segmentations here. Then there is segmentation list here. For example, you have to create any list here, any list that is static or dynamic. You have to hit the add list button here. You have to choose a folder. So it's by default in the uncategorized folder. So in order to create a dynamic list, you have to hit this checkbox. Once this is hit, this list will have a certain criteria, and this list will be categorized as a dynamic list. And when display the list and email preference center and allow prospects. So these are the basic options that allows prospect to be assigned to the list from a CRM. By CRM is I mean that so let me just click and set the dynamic list here. So once we hit this, we have to provide a certain criteria. So this dynamic rule has match all and match any. As means and, any means or. So when it talks about logic conditions, so match all is basically and match any is or. So for example, if I just add any of the new rule here, so this drop down will have a certain amount of fields. So for example, prospect account. So when I talk about accounts, it's a prospect, it's an object. And when I talk about prospect custom object, it's a custom object that we have created in the account engagement settings. The custom object can be anything. And when I talk about prospect opportunity, is the opportunity that is opportunity object. Yeah. So this is just, let's just give me a prospect account example. Once you select, we have to select the number of fields here. So for example, if I select this account source field here, if this con this account field, account source contains web, then it will gather all the prospects information under this dynamic rule. Also, we can even add match any here. For example, just click prospect custom field here, account source, status. So for example, this list will be gather all those prospects that has an account source field contains web and or prospect custom fields that contains new. This will work as an or also we can change the here. It depends on the requirement and the criteria what you have to implement. So when I talk about add new rule group, so this is just a specific basic uh, requirement. So when I talk about add new rule group, so, so this will be conditions within condition. So this is and we can also add conditions within this group. So for example, prospect let me just on field. So this condition says that this prospect account fields, uh, that is number of employees, is greater than 20 and less than 50. We can either add this as and, or also we can add match any. So it depends upon your requirement that we can add conditions within conditions using the rule group, or we can even add just single conditions here as per the requirements. Once this is done, we can just preview. So once we hit the preview button, so it would say all preview matches. So find prospects that will match these dynamics. So it would basically generate the number of prospects that will match this certain criteria. And once you have a look of the prospects, once you have this, you can just simply run rules. And once this is run, it will basically gather all those number of total prospects that is matching this certain criteria. So basically, it takes time because there is a syncing process that has been running at the back of this account engagement process. It basically takes 10 minutes mostly to sync all these dynamics. So I think this is pretty much from the dynamic list sites. And if I want you to create this, so for example, so these are the static lists. So for example, if I just create a static list without a checkbox of dynamic list, and we can even create a list that is used for some testing purpose sales campaigns as well. So for example, if I just create list and name it here company DEF, create list. This is created, and if I just go to the prospect section here, let me just go back. You can even have the options here or add it. Yeah. So you can assign this prospect to a certain list and save it as well. So this can be done within the static list, but this can be done in the dynamic list. So a static list has no criteria in short, and a dynamic list has a criteria. So let me go to the create automations rule side here. So before going to the automation rules, I can I just have to give an overview. Some rules make changes to prospects in your database automatically once they fit the criteria you set. Much like dynamic lists, automation rules are constantly running in the background of your Pardot database to look for your prospect that meets your criteria. This powerful tool has many use cases and options for customization. Ultimately, soon after a prospect meets the criteria that has been set for an automation rule, triggers a completion action. So basically, this has a completion action as well. Dynamic list doesn't have a completion action. So using automation rules, you can be pretty creative with automation rules and utilize them to accomplish a variety of tasks and products. So this automation will run continuously in the background of your Pardot instance until you choose to stop. For example, uh, let me just give you some examples of automations. So we can send autoresponders deleting prospects from a certain specific list, adding prospects to a certain list, notifying your sales reps of an inbound lead or outbound lead, assigning prospects based on region or criteria. So for example, if I just talk about change prospect profile. So this rule changes the prospect profiles to executive buyer. This is just an example. If the person is in Texas, works at a mid-sized company, and has a particular score for a corporate culture. Add prospects to a list. Rule changes the prospect profile to executive buyer if the person is in Texas, works at mid-sized company, and has a particular score for a corporate culture. So let me just go back to the org and create one automation rule for you. So for that, we have to go to the automations here. And here you have engagement studio, automation rules, page action, and segmentations list. You have to click automations rule here. So you have to give a name. For example, let me just wait. Authenticated prospects. You can even give descriptions for any of the users to understand. So you can even add a condition here. So do you want to repeat rule to prospects more than once? So in short, we can say that you have to apply this automation rule once or more than once for a certain prospect. And if you have to do this, you can just simply check this. Oh, unlimited matches? Yes, limited total number of matches too. So you can even limit the matches here, and you can even give unlimited matches. And then as we have came across this rule as per the dynamic list, it's pretty much same. You have to give add new rule and add new rule group here. So for example, if I have to perform an automation rule on a certain prospect's active sample, a certain prospect score that is greater than this, it's 200, then we can perform certain criteria. So for example, add new action here, choose list, company DES, or we can even choose this to customers. So basically this example is pretty much simpler. And if I just talk about this, what this is be doing, so it will basically run uh, an automation rule in the background of the database of the Pardot, and it will gather all the prospects that is whose Pardot prospect score is greater than 200. And what they're doing is that they will be adding this specific prospect to the list of customers. So it depends on the requirement and the implement that you have to implement on this automation. It's very much open and very much easy, and you will be very excited to give a hands-on on this because this is a very powerful tool. Automations rules are very helpful because it allows you to do certain things with certain actions. So once this is done, and you can see this is basically paused. How you can resume it, you have the options to resume it as well. So in short, you can even resume and you can even pause it. So it gives you the criteria, it gives you the what do we say? It gives you the requirement at when to start or resume or stop it as per your requirement. So this has been enabled and it is currently working as well. I think that is pretty much from today. And yes, let me know if you have any questions.
Thank you, Amar. Amar, we have a couple of questions in the chat.
Sorry.
We have a couple of questions in the chat. One is
Okay.
from Farah. She's saying, is account engagement and Pardot the same thing?
So yeah, hi Farah. So account engagement and Pardot is the same. So basically, Pardot was known previously. Account engagement was known as Pardot. Now it is just renamed to account engagement. So it is. So it's a install. You have to install this patch. It's different. It's integrated with Salesforce, and it is a package. Yeah, you have to install this. You have to. So this is basically what do we say? You have to pay for this app as well, and it is integrated with Salesforce. Mehdi, yes. Anyone else?
Does anyone have any more questions? I guess not. So very enlightenment session, Amar. Thank you so much for your time. And thank you everyone who joined. And I hope that this session would be very fruitful to you. And if you guys have any more questions, do send it to me, Remsha, Amar, anyone you like. You might have all the profiles on the LinkedIn as well. And maybe all of you are also joined on the WhatsApp group as well. So feel free to drop any more questions, any queries, or any more suggestions for this session. So thank you everyone. Thank you, Amar. Thank you for your time.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for having me here, and it was so nice
Always a pleasure. Always a
uh,
pleasure. Thank you.
giving
No worries, bro.
Giving back to the community. Thank you
Absolutely,
so much.
absolutely. So thank you guys. I hope to see you in next session. And thank you for joining. Take care.